Hey guys, welcome to Mindset Automotive. Today we're going to be looking at my 1984 supercharged 3800 swap Fiero, as well as starting the first episode of our series of me rebuilding / building the entire car. To get you guys up to speed, we have my 1984 Pontiac Fiero that I supercharged 3800 swapped about 2 years ago. This has been a huge project for me, something that I've worked tremendous amount of hours on. About 2 years ago, I bought the car for $1,200. I bought the motor for $600. It originally had the Iron Duke in it. It was awful. It was beat up. It was left in mud and dirt and snow and rain for 8 years. I bought the car and swapped it after about a week when I blew all the oil out of the oil pan. Me and my buddies went out and picked up the motor from the same guy I bought the car from. Spent about 2 months swapping the car from, at the time, his parents' house to my apartment at the time, to eventually ending up in an AutoZone parking lot where we finished off the swap, and I ended up ultimately driving it to Tennessee after 2 months of doing the swap. Did all the wiring myself, did all the exhaust. We drove it to Tennessee. It caught on fire, as Fieros do. And on the way back had some issues that ended up making us have to trailer it back. About 5 months later, I was able to pull it into my uncle's shop and start redoing everything that I had previously done. I spent about 4 to 5 months working on it, every night, every day, whenever I could. I redid absolutely everything from the hacked up wiring harness that I just threw together to get it running, to the exhaust, to fully pulling out the motor, repainting stuff, doing engine bay work, doing suspension work, and even painting some body panels, which we will end up getting to in this series at some point, where I will end up either repainting and or wrapping this vehicle. What we're going to start off with is 3 months after I redid everything, I ended up blowing it up yet again. The motor that I had in it had some oil burning problems. When I pulled it out, I didn't have the money or time really, because I was trying to get it to Automotion that year to rebuild internals, and it had some pretty rough oil burning problems. Well, I have had no way of checking oil pressure and or checking oil level, because the dipstick is in the very back of the motor, which is a pain, and I was lazy. I ended up going out, raced a buddy the night before. It was great, pulled great, felt phenomenal. Felt a little sluggish that night though. Next day we were going to a meet and did a pull on the highway and immediately heard rod knock about 30 seconds later. So blew the rod bearings out of it, and then I tried replacing the rod bearings, put them in, torqued everything down to spec, or at least what I was told was spec, retorqued everything up, drove it 2 minutes down the road, rod bearings blew out again. So now that they've blown out twice, I decided I'd just go in, I'd buy a whole new motor, I'd start fresh, and now I have 2 spare motors that I'm going to end up, as you guys will see throughout the series, hopefully, build a big turbo setup for this entire car, and ultimately am hoping to have one of the fastest 3800 swap Fieros in the States. I don't know if there's any others in any other place that are faster, but the hope is to have a pretty quick car. Now that we've gone over all of that, here we have my brand new, semi-new, it's got about 112,000 miles on it, supercharged 3800, picked up about 3 hours away from home, got it back home, unloaded it, now I've got it to my house. So what we're gonna have to start off with is, obviously, we're going to have to clean this absolute wreck off the car. Recently moved into my house and have been trying to get things all squared away, but I think it's time to actually start doing something with the vehicle now that it's been sitting for about 2 weeks in a place that I can actually work on it finally. So let's do that. So all this crap here can just go away. And we can actually start taking a peek at what we have inside this thing. Now, Don't judge the screwdriver. I have a new key lock for it as well. But we can see what we have left inside of this pile of junk. As you can see, I have parts thrown everywhere. I have fuel lines sitting out, hoses disconnected, parts sitting, including a Pringles can, sitting inside the trunk thing, and my wiring's kind of all over the place. We're gonna fix a lot of that, if not all of that, hopefully, over these next couple episodes. I have the new motor sitting right over there, ready to go in this guy. I have welders, stuff to fix motor mounts and engine mounts and everything else, top and bottom end. We're going to try to go through this entire thing and get it all up and running very quickly. First things first, we got to get this motor disconnected from this engine hoist, and the engine hoist set up behind this car. You may be wondering, so how do you pull the motors on these guys, right? You'd think, oh, well, you just pull them from the top, right? You disconnect the trunk, you pull up, and you rip the whole damn thing out, right? Wrong. These things, actually, you have to lift the rear of the car. You disconnect all of the cradle mounts, which also connect to all your suspension mounts up underneath. You pick the whole thing up and off of your motor, cradle, everything else, and you drag the thing out from underneath it. Now we're gonna have some weird things going on with this one, considering my garage is as low as it is. But all we gotta do first is get this thing over where it's supposed to go without knocking over, hopefully, the motor or running into anything large, and as well as while hoping that we can fit through some of these smaller gaps that I've made for myself. But we will do our best. So now that this thing's back here, here's where we gotta do some weird things, right? Right now I have it set at half ton, okay? I need to move this from half ton to 1 ton. But our other problem being, our legs actually hit the subframe or the cradle underneath. So what we have to do is we have to grab a jack, we have to jack up the rear a little bit, slide this thing forward once it's at a full ton, and then hook it up where we're supposed to. Now that we've got the jack in position where it needs to be, set up right there underneath the cradle, we're going to pump the jack, make sure it's on the cradle itself. Pump it up just enough where we can get the rest of this thing slid forward to about where the half ton or the 1 ton would be. Maybe a little less. Right about there should be good. And now we got to move, like I said, the half ton back to a ton, and I will show you how we hook this up afterwards. Now that we have this thing positioned at the correct position at 1 ton, we're going to reposition our entire engine hoist back a little ways, enough where we can get a solid good handle on it to be able to throw our chains up on it. We don't want this thing up too high though, because again, my ceiling is not much taller than my car. With this open, with it out open, or with being able to lower this, we should be able to clear as much as I need, hopefully. So now that we have got our chains hooked up semi-correctly, or at least correctly enough to my standards, we're going to have to do the fun part, which is disconnecting every bolt like so that holds this motor in. There's one there, there's one back there, and there's 2 up underneath down there. Okay, so audio might have changed a little bit here, but disconnected all the bolts. We've lifted the car. Motor is at a height now where it's sitting that I can pull it straight back. We're going to set this this car on these jack stands over here. And then, there's one on both sides. Once that's done, we'll release the engine hoist. We'll drop them on these jack stands, and then we will bring everything back and out. So now we got everything disconnected out of the car. Got the motor sitting right here. Everything's ready to go. We've got a new motor sitting out ready to be torn through. We're going to do that next episode. Everything is out. I think I went through most of the parts. Obviously, as you can see, the car's up, very up. We've got it set on jack stands. We've got everything out. All the wiring's hanging out underneath the car. We're going to do a bunch of cleanup on that. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're also going to go through and sand this whole engine bay, repaint, re-clean up, and fix some other small issues here and there while I have everything out in the open. And after that, we will throw the new motor back in. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to end this here. We are going to start back up again here soon, and I will have a new video posted within the next couple days. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day.